All you need is one locker room, 2 to 4 tube lights, around 45 minutes, and I'll show you a hype video setup any high school team can copy. Seriously, copy it. Here's the breakdown.
They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression. It's all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I saw.
Here's how the pre-production played out. Coaches called me with really 2 requests. They wanted some kind of media day hype video energy with no budget really at all. Okay, let's figure this out. Everyone just wants to feel like that was cool, that was hype, that team actually looks good, which this team actually is really good. They win states, I don't know, every year, every other year. But you won't always go shoot a hype video for a team that's just going to win all season. You might shoot a hype video for a team that is going to go out there and just crush a losing record. But it doesn't mean they don't deserve a hype video. They can still get hype to loot. So we turned kind of a jumble of ideas into some pretty solid footage that after this video, you can replicate. All right, continuing with the pre-production. With that no budget in mind, we already knew we're gonna use highlights shot by other videographers, other seasons, and compile that at the best we could. It wasn't my footage, but I said, hey, if that's what you got, let's do it. Then we wanted to lean on their new jerseys and this cool vibe that you've seen, I've seen, everyone's seen of this kind of moody locker room. Nothing new. We were shifting through these different players so quickly, in and out of classes, in a workout class. We're moving so fast that I knew in my head 3 looks per kid. And I was gonna go quickly. Hold the football, let me get a wide. Let me get in close, do this. And one big move, yell at the camera, it didn't matter. We'll get to that later. But that's what I thought of pre-pro. Okay, that's kind of what this shoot is gonna look like. Now, how do we make it look next level? Well, that's where the lighting comes in. First off, shut all the lights off. Fluorescent, anything that is bringing in light. If you have windows, block them or don't, but take note of them. So shutting off all the fluorescent. So shutting off all the guys, Justice in the edit is cutting out all this stuff, but let me tell you, this first intro, I've been messing up my words. I'm gonna lock in though, right now. It's happening. And I'm gonna start with fluorescent. Shut them off. Now we're gonna start to enter our light kit. So what I brought to the table was 4 Amaran tube lights. I'll get them in a second and show you. This is not an ad for them because I'm not super happy with them, but it's what I had and they did work. But I'll tell you why I'm not a fan. Not a fan, but I'll tell you exactly. The other thing was a softbox. I always plan to boom a softbox over top to add more of a drama to the scene. That was the plan. I had one of the coaches send me a picture of the locker room, and he sent me this destroyed locker room. Not super inspiring, but then I started drawing on it and sent it back to him and showed him, hey, this is what it's gonna look like. Is that all right? And he's like, oh yeah, and we'll clean up the space. I was like, oh good, I'm glad. So it was clean. They even added helmets. They made it look nice for me, which I really appreciate. Make sure you have a C stand and some counterweight to boom in your overhead light. That's pivotal. All right, now that you have a lighting breakdown and you have to work with the power on the tube lights, power on the softbox, get that dialed in, but that is as simple as it is. Haze going through to add a little texture, a little atmosphere in the room, soften the light even more. Also just kind of add some glow to those tube lights. Haze, softbox overhead, 4 tube lights, and an FX3. So now let's talk about the camera. Wait, before I talk about the camera, I want to talk about this tube light. First off, here is the tube light that was used. All right, it's an Amaran what's over here? Amaran PT4C. Big tube light. Cool. I'm gonna just keep spinning around as I look and talk. This is the tube light that was used. Here's my issues. I had a couple broken or messed up LED pieces inside, so it would, on some big events that I've done, it showed a different color. That's not okay. That was soon after I bought it. I was careful with them. The cases are right back there. They are protected just fine. That's on Amaran. Defective. It's just defective. It didn't work. And that was a huge bummer because at this point, One, I think Amaran's a Chinese company. I'm not, unless someone wants to reach out to me and help me with this. I was not, after trying to use them and using them, and a few months goes by sometimes with gear, I wasn't going to go and do the customer service circuit. It just, to me, is exhausting. After using them just a couple times, that happened. Not happy about that. Here's another thing. Almost immediately, 2 or 3, how many do I have? 2, 4? 2 of them. 2 of these tripods that come with it, which are the crappiest build you could ever imagine. They're great. Like, I wanted them. That's how I used them. I put the tripod in the bottom, open it up, stand up these things. These are garbage. I mean that. And I'm not bashing Amaran. They've got some okay products. This is the cheapest thing you could ever want. And 2 completely broke, snapped the plastic. You're supposed to be able to tighten this little Allen key and get it better, but it loosens immediately and broke within the first or second use. So that's another frustration. So let's say the first 2 uses, the light is fine. 2 of these break, and then the 3rd use, I take it to an actual event where I want it to work, and one of the LEDs went bad, so it was flickering a different color on stage, ugly, and was embarrassing for me in front of my client. So not happy with these tube lights. They're inexpensive-ish, note that. But tube light look, I saved some money, went with these, regret it. These should have been in my last video. You should go check it out. It's gear that I should have spent more money on. That should have been on the list. It wasn't on the list, but it should have been. Now, next thing I want to show you is FX3 was the main camera. Here's the setup. FX3 24-70. Simple as that. I did have a ND filter on the front just in case. I don't remember using it. I'll have to check if there's any behind the scenes footage. But my plan was to use this 24-70, get in tight if I needed to, be able to stay out wide. I can't say I ever had a plan for focal length and what I was going to do. There's nothing specific. What I really did like about using this was the 4K 120. I used 4K 120 for some of the motion where he's spinning the football on his finger, and I tried that a few different times. Also went down to 60, 4K 60, and played around a lot. The key to this type of shoot where we used, it was really 30 to 45 minutes, quickly shifting through players, was variability. Moving, quick thinking, action happening. But this camera, nothing special. Audio, I did kind of fail on that. I think I actually might have messed up some of the audio if I was even recording audio at the time, because there's not a lot, but that's it. So if I can make a suggestion for you, it's use a camera that, if you have the lighting how you want it, doesn't really matter what the camera you have, but something helpful is being able to do 4K 60. I definitely did not need the 4K 120 to make this good. It was just a small accent, but 4K 24 or 4K 60 would be helpful to be able to slow something down, especially if you're running around like me, handheld, everything. Helpful, but get artistic. There's a million ways you can do it. What I regret is not enough texture shots. I'll show you a few that are close, but I could have got all the way into a jersey to show texture, show it move, a helmet shine, sweat, those kind of texture pieces are cool storytelling elements, and I often forget them, and I definitely forgot them on this shoot. As I was combing through the edit, I did find just a lot of the same stuff. And some of the best different shots wasn't because of me, it was because a kid, one of these athletes, decided to give me something different, which was great, but it really wasn't on my directing. Speaking of that, let's talk about directing talent, aka students, athletes. Let's talk about that. These high school players aren't models. So what I did was give them 3 cues with my 3 lengths, my 3 focal lengths, my 3 whatever. Obviously you want movement. That's huge. You want height, movement, flexes, all that. So here's a couple notes on directing. 1, if they seem like they're not doing much, get your butt out in front of your camera, put the camera down, and make yourself look a little goofy by doing what you want them to do. Now, they're not going to look goofy because they're in a uniform. They're probably fit. They're strong. They're cool. They're whatever. They're not going to look goofy. You are most likely going to look goofy, but that will help them. So me, skinny guy, gets up, starts just flexing and showing them and screaming and doing whatever. If you're asking them to do it, you better do it yourself. I had a few of these kids who not necessarily shy, but or it could have just been too cool to go a little above and beyond, or maybe there was just some that were shy, which is totally cool. I would suggest jumping out and doing it. Put the camera down, jump out, throw a ball around. And with that, throw a ball around. That's my second point. Second thing is sometimes it just helps to have something in your hands. So give them a football to start. Let them toss it. Just say, hey, just toss that thing up and down. Look tough. All right, cool. Side to side. Awesome. Now we're going to try some, and then you integrate more of their body movements. So if you don't give them a ball and then you have this whole, like, what do I do with my hands? And they feel uncomfortable, and start with something. Give them a prop. Let them hold their helmet. Let them hold the ball. Make them get out some of that nervous energy. My third thing is I often, if I feel that something was actually cool, I'm 30, so I'm losing track of that, I think, but cinematic or something that they'd appreciate, depending on who you're working with, show them. There's often times where you do something maybe artistic that maybe isn't really easy to understand outside the camera. Flip the camera around and say, hey, look at this. Here's what I'm going for. Oh, and then get them involved. Make them a part of the production. And then get their kids in the background, hype them up too. It became this whole atmosphere. Getting everyone else leaning into whoever's up, it's their turn on camera. Get people excited about it, because that's going to get a better performance out of your athletes. And because I know it's important, though I think there's so many ways you can go with it. When it comes to the edit, a lot of hype videos lean a lot on music. Now, I will say up at higher levels, sound design makes these hype videos. But if we're talking about high school hype videos, music is huge. Get it intense, get it exciting, and then integrate some sound design. Yes, I did a poor job of that when I made this, but music is huge, and edit for that music to motivate movements in the frame to pump these kids up. That's the goal. Everyone just wants to feel like that was cool, that was hype, that team actually looks good, which this team actually is really good. They win states, I don't know, every year, every other year, it doesn't matter. They're actually really good. But you won't always go shoot a hype video for a team that's just going to win all season. You might shoot a hype video for a team that is going to go out there and just crush a losing record. But it doesn't mean they don't deserve a hype video. They can still get hype. Hype to lose. My high school soccer team, we were hype all the time. And we lost all the time. All the time. That's it. This is a quick hitter because I believe it's simple. You can do it. Message me in the comments. If you have something like this coming up, I'm prepared to help you out in the comments. We can make it happen. Boom, a softbox in, boom it up over, make it dramatic, shut off all the other lights, haze the room, run around like a crazy person with your camera and your director's hat on, and you've got it. And then edit it all together with either your own footage or someone else's footage, and it's hype. It's hype. And then learn and get better. I'm excited to do another one of these because it's been a year or 2 or 3, I don't remember now, since I did this, and I think I've improved. And I'd like to give it another shot. Thanks so much for watching. I am excited to grow this community on YouTube, and I'm excited you're here. I am. I swear, I'm not kidding. I will see you next week. Your smiling face next week. Have you subscribed?